Morning, everyone. So we wake up to a government shutdown as expected. There's a lot to get through this morning, and I might split this into two videos, but yeah, let's kick off with the government shutdown. Listen, those of you who don't understand what this means, it probably sounds quite scary to you. It potentially can be a concern, but as it stands at the moment, this is just a routine government shutdown. It happens almost on an annual basis. It means that the government effectively shuts down all of its core operations, whether it be TSA airports, whether it be Amtrak, whether it be monuments and museums, whether it be small business loans, the list goes on. Essentially everything that's owned and operated by the US government. And this is as a result of the Democrats at the last minute not agreeing to the GOP spending plans, and it always comes down to spending, right? So the government, and listen, who knows whether this will turn into something bigger this time, or whether it'll just be a standard US government shutdown, which has a huge amount of noise, and then it gets resolved, and then everyone moves on, and the market couldn't care less. I am very much hoping that this is the market uses this as an excuse to sell off, because the market desperately needs to sell off. I've been talking about it for the last 2 weeks, maybe even 3 weeks, and if you've been talking to me in my professional world, for months. Okay. Now, look at the major indexes. Look at the big stocks that move these indexes, right? They've ground to a halt. Nvidia made an all-time high yesterday on no news. People are just grabbing for that little bit extra here and there. But the indexes, the big indexes, which are dominated and run by 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stocks, can only go down if those stocks go down. So, and it's been a rotation. They've been taking turns, whether it be first it was the AI guys, then it was Google, then it was Apple, and then it's just grabbing and grabbing and grabbing. And we've got to the point now where we're so exhausted. But if everyone wants a Christmas rally, right? The retail world wants one, the professional world expects one and would like one, but we can't have one unless the market actually sells off first. So there's a platform to buy from, right? We can't just keep grinding higher without a sell-off. It's not the way the market works. So whether you like it or not, we're going to have a sell-off, and who knows what the catalyst for that may be. It could be this government shutdown. It could be jobs numbers on Friday. It could be something else. Who knows? But something needs to happen, because the way it is now, we're just exhausted, and it's going nowhere, and it's quite painful. At a stock level, it's much more fun. I've got my QQQ short, which is basically the index, which I'm perfectly happy with. It's doing nothing. I've got my Palantir short. It was up again yesterday, but I'm not too concerned about it. It's only 2% offside. My quantum shorts, which are working really well, I'm up like 12 to 15% just in the last 4 or 5 days. Might cover them soon, we'll see. And then I've got the longs working quite nicely. Yesterday, as I told you in the book, I took some longs out. I took plug out and laser out because they weren't acting very well. I replaced them with Pfizer when it was up 2.8%, which is an incredible stock to own right here. In my view, the stock closed up 7, so that was a great trade on the day. I'm holding on to the Pfizer long. Not only are they in bed with Trump, with this new Trump RX program to sell cut price drugs to America, but they've also made their GLP-1 weight loss acquisition, and the company they bought has got some great trial data. So and it's very defensive and very cheap and very unloved, and it fits nicely into sort of my thesis for this market right here. So they're also one of the US titans, whether that be Nike or Boeing or Estee Lauder, these big brands that have been in the doldrums, that have had huge rallies. Pfizer's one of the only ones left that has not had that rally. So I'm very happy with my Pfizer long. I've got the Viking was up nicely yesterday. I'm holding on to that long, of course. I've got my Illuma, which was off yesterday. I've fielded hundreds of questions about this stock. It's a small cap. I'm sticking with it. I'm buying the dips. Plug and laser are gone. Pfizer's in. I've got my Novo Nordisk and my Ørsted in Europe. So the book is trimmed down a bit. A couple of longs have gone. A big defensive heavyweight blue chip has gone on the long side, and of course then I've got my shorts that I've talked about a million times. So nothing's really changed. I'll update you a bit later in terms of what I'm thinking about the market, and we'll see how this develops over the next 24 hours in terms of the US government shutdown. But let me just make my point crystal clear. The market is in a very, very, very exhausted frame of mode right now. We need to sell off to reset for a rally higher. Unfortunately, the way that this is set up right now is the professional world is max long money market accounts, right? Cash. They're very, very, very bearish. They're waiting for a sell-off in the market. Retail are max long, the same stocks. We all know what they are. The CTAs, the robots, the algorithms are all long. The passive quant funds are all long, max long the market. So The selling has to be done ultimately by retail and machines to get this market to come down, and it's a tricky situation to say the least, because of the professional investor world is so long cash that there's just constantly money on the sidelines to come in, and then the reason why that is because they all got the Trump tariff thing completely and utterly wrong and didn't participate at any stage on the way up, and now we've got a market that's all at all-time highs with no one participating, which means it's very difficult for it to come off. So that's the dynamic we're facing. I might do a video on this actually a bit later, just to use the case study of the last 6 months or since April, since the tariff scenario. Anyway, that's the morning brief, and I'll certainly send another video shortly touching on some other things, including Nike's earnings last night, which of course were better than expected.